Hi everyone, this is Lisa Dickinson, Garden Girl at 2 Peas in a Bucket, here with my very first video as a garden girl. I thought it would be nice to pop on and introduce myself, say hi, so that you can put a face with the voice you'll be hearing on the video. I'm joining a few other garden girls for the Scene Double series where we'll be showing you how to get some extra mileage out of your scrap supplies. Today I'm going to be working with a new Fiskars punch. It's the Jenni Bowlin Quilt Star, and I'm going to be using it to create a background for a scrapbook layout and some cute embellishments for a card. So let's get started. Punches are one of my favorite tools just because they're so quick and easy to use, and there really are a lot of ways to incorporate them into your projects. Today I'm using the Fiskars Quilt Star punch with a variety of pattern papers and also some vellums to create a background for my layout, and then later some embellishments for a card. I'm starting this layout like I usually do with my photos. I've got 2 shots of my kids on Christmas morning, and I'm just going to grab some supplies that I think will work with them. I'm starting with the Crate Paper 14 collection, which is actually a Valentine's themed line, but because my photos aren't traditional Christmas colors, I think that I can make some of these papers work. The bright reds and pinks and some of the neutral tones, possibly the green paper, seem to coordinate with my photos pretty well. I've also grabbed a few sheets of the stickers from this same crate line, and some of the metal flare buttons from Ormolu, and a yellow washi tape from Freckled Fawn. And because I love mixing different colors and fonts for my titles, I'm selecting 2 different sets of thickers from American Crafts, a glitter white foam and an epoxy red. Since I've got a lot of color in my pattern papers, I'm starting with a neutral cardstock base in Craft. I typically start my layouts this way with either a white or a craft base and then just see how the elements work on top. And if I want to add more color in later, I'll switch the background before I adhere everything down. I went ahead and punched quilt stars from several of the crate papers, and I also added in a yellow paper from Lily Bee Design since that color is prevalent in my photos. Then I decided to punch stars from vellum to mix in with all these pattern papers. I think the vellum will add a nice softness and a little bit of shimmer to this background I'm creating. When my stars are all punched, I begin arranging them in a grid formation on the cardstock. I'm staggering their alignment just a little bit so there aren't large gaps or trapped white space in between each star. Once my grid is roughly laid out, I position my photos where I think they might be. The lower right corner looks like a good place, and I'm thinking I'll tilt them a little bit to offset the linear grid. This leaves a bit of extra room along the top edge of the page where I think I'm going to put my journaling. I've typed several lines of journaling and printed it along the top edge of my cardstock, and now I'm ready to arrange and adhere my grid of stars. To add some extra detail to the background, I decided to add some vertical rows of machine stitching. On some of the stars, I stacked 2 of the punches together before I stitched across it. Once I finished all the rows of stitching, I slightly bent some of the star edges upward, and you can see this really adds a lot of dimension and texture to the background. Now it's time to add my page elements. Since my background is dimensional, I'm going to adhere my photos using a foam adhesive to make them stand up off the background as well. I love the This and That foam dots from American Crafts because they have a variety of sizes in one pack, and the depth of the foam is a really nice height. Next, I'm going to work on my title. Since the theme of this page is Christmas morning, I decided to title it Happy Day. I laid the word happy on my clear ruler just to see how it would fit. And when I see it against the star background, I'm thinking it gets a bit lost. So I wanted to add some yellow washi tape behind it just to help it pop out a bit more. Then I'll stick my white letters down on top of the washi tape and add the second word of the title, which is day, out of the red epoxy thickers. My title looks a little off balance, so I'm thinking of adding this chipboard doily to the corner. To connect it to my title, I'm going to stamp the word O on it using Studio Calico alphabet stamps and StazOn ink in jet black. The chipboard is a little bit glossy, and the StazOn ink works really well on glossy surfaces because it dries fast and it doesn't smear. Now I'm adding the chipboard piece back onto my layout, and I'm just going to tuck it a little bit underneath the word happy so that all the elements of the title look connected. With just a few embellishments added, I think this page will be done. I'm going to add the yellow flare to one of the stars and a red button to another to form a triangle with my title. The upper edge of my layout looks a bit bare, so I'm putting a tab sticker from the crate collection up there. I'm also going to add a small red chipboard heart. To finish it off, I've added a bit of zigzag stitching and a handwritten date. Here's a look at the completed page. Now I'm going to make three-dimensional star embellishments for a card. I started by punching 3 pieces of pattern paper and 3 pieces of vellum and stacking them together. I'll attach them all using the Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. Now I'm going to gently separate the layers, folding them in towards the center to make the starburst three-dimensional. And this is what they'll look like when you're all done. To build my card, I'm going to start with a craft base and a piece of pattern paper cut slightly smaller. And I'm going to attach a piece of twine across the top using the Tiny Attacher once again. This is going to serve as my banner that I will attach the starburst to. I'm going to adhere this part to my card base. And then using some foam dots, I will stick the starburst down on top of the twine to create my little banner across the top of the card. So there's my starburst. Now I'm going to use some of the stickers just to create a simple little sentiment across the bottom of the card. I'm going to use a green one and then a little red one that I'll tuck underneath, and then a yellow one. And you'll notice these kind of coordinate with my starburst embellishments. Then I just need to trim off that little piece of overhang, and the card is complete. Thanks for joining me for this week's Seeing Double video. For more information, visit www.twopeasinabucket.com and look under the Design Team tab. See you next time.